Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. No real premise behind this one. Today I just felt like jumping on and sitting down and talking about Sunday really. Not for any specific reason. It's not the game preview. We will be live with the game preview to Sunday's do or die fixture really against Bournemouth at Goodison Park tomorrow evening around about the same time, 4, 4, half 4. I know it's 6:15 now, but the same time as usual. But I just wanted to sit down today and sort of almost have a little bit of a group therapy session, looking ahead to Sunday, because I've tried to not think too much about this game of football, and I know that's easier said than done, and obviously that hasn't been a success. It's pretty much all I've thought about for the last 7 days, or certainly since that Wolves fixture last Saturday. But I've tried to, very much contextualise the situation that Everton are in, and try and put myself in a headspace and a mindset of, well, listen, if we win on Sunday, then we stay up. It's completely in our hands, and if we don't win, then we almost don't deserve to be in the Premier League next season, given the enormity of this game and given the significance of it, and also given the fact that Bournemouth have got absolutely nothing to play for themselves. So it really is a game that Everton should go into and realistically, given everything that is on the line, come out with the 3 points. But that hasn't really been the case. The anxiety, the nerves, the just sheer worry leading into this game, it has really took its toll on me. And don't get me wrong, I've been suffering from a viral infection for the last 2 weeks or so, as you can tell by the impetigo on my face, which I've covered in a video previous to this. But I was up all night last night. I was up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, just projectile vomiting and couldn't stop. And as I said, don't get me wrong, I think part and parcel of that is probably A, having a viral infection, and B, playing football in 18-degree heat yesterday with very little hydration, which was stupid. But I also am going to blame a little bit of it on Everton as well, because the stress and the anxiety and the worry at the moment is just, it's horrible. It really, really, really is horrible. And as I've titled this live stream, Sunday really is the biggest game of my lifetime. And listen, Everton haven't particularly been a success over the last 25 years that I've been on this planet, and I think that is putting it nicely, really. We haven't been a success whatsoever, but I've watched Everton, in FA Cup finals, I've watched Everton in FA Cup semi-finals, Carabao Cup semi-finals, I've watched Everton in Europe, I've witnessed Everton play a fair few important games that you may look at and think, what, this could be the biggest game this football club plays in the next few years. Certainly that FA Cup final in 2009 against Chelsea, but this one is just a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? The future of this football club really, really, really does lie in the hands of 90 minutes on Sunday afternoon. Whether or not we will be a Premier League team going forward. And, as I said, I keep hearing people talking about Everton being relegated, and I keep hearing, opposition fans saying, well, it might be good for you because you might go down and then, you might be able to sort of completely start again and do what Burnley have done and get a new manager in and get a new load of players in and change the way in which, things happen at the football club and then come back up fighting next year. But I just fear that wouldn't be the case with Everton. I think if Everton were to go down, it would be more likely that we were to stay down and we were to almost follow the path of a Sunderland or a Blackburn or, various other teams that have been relegated from the Premier League. Leeds, before they come back up, they were in the Championship and the lower leagues for 14 years. Nottingham Forest, similarly. I feel like Everton would be more likely to follow that sort of pattern, as opposed to the Burnley pattern of going down, completely changing and sort of revitalising the football club and coming back up the following year, winning the league title. And that, again, formulates part of the worry, doesn't it, going into Sundays? You just don't know what the repercussions of that would be. And obviously the repercussions of going down, on the face of it would be going down and playing Championship football next season. But I think it would be bigger than that. For Everton, I think it would be much more problematic than that. We already know there's a whole load of financial problems going on at the football club today. I've just read a potential, not a potential, sorry, a interview from Jean-Philippe Gbamin's agent, who is talking about, even though Jean-Philippe Gbamin is contracted to Everton for another year, he will not be returning to the football club, and he'll be looking to continue his football elsewhere, maybe Russia and maybe elsewhere. But that's a player who cost Everton £25 million, will leave the football club almost certainly for free. We might get a slight fee for him at the end of this season. I would imagine it wouldn't be any more than £5 million. And, since being at Everton Football Club, has spent this year out on loan at various clubs, and the previous 3 years out injured. So that's £25 million down the drain, and he's not the first player that Everton have spent big money on that ultimately has ended up providing us with no profit. Morgan Schneiderlin being one of them, Yannick Bolasie being one of them as well. Gylfi Sigurdsson. These are all players that cost Everton 25, 30, 40 million pounds that we've made absolutely sweet FA from. And, whilst I appreciate that, there's an investigation ongoing surrounding Everton's finances, and that investigation will be concluded, and whatever the outcome is will be the outcome, and I'm sure we will discuss that when it comes to light. It is incredibly worrying, isn't it, when you just look and you think of the amount of situations in which Everton have spent 25, 30 million pounds on players, and we've not made any money back off of them. Now, okay, we've had your Romelu Lukaku's and your John Stones, in which we've made a profit from, and we may well have Amadou Onana this season. Obviously, we had Anthony Gordon, who we made a lot of money on and who cost us nothing because he come through the academy. But for every Anthony Gordon, there's a Morgan Schneiderlin, and there's a Gylfi Sigurdsson, there's a Yannick Bolasie, there's a Jean-Philippe Gbamin. There's these players that have cost a ridiculous amount of money that ultimately have left the football club for nothing. Theo Walcott, Cenk Tosun, the Alan, the list sort of goes on, doesn't it? And that is a really, really, really worrying thing to think about when you also add it to the fact that if Everton are relegated this season and are playing Championship football next season, then obviously the finances take a massive cut anyway, because there's nowhere near as much money in the Championship as what there is in the Premier League. You add that to the fact that we're already in a financial rut, as well as potential charges because of financial breaches in the past, and it just does not look very promising for this football club going forward. So it all adds and it all adds up, and it all sort of goes together to sort of to add to the importance of this game of football on Sunday. It truly is the biggest game of football that I've ever witnessed as an Evertonian, and it's worrying. It's worrying because I don't really know how to feel going into this one. This isn't just your average Premier League game. I've been a season ticket holder, for 15 years or so. I've been home and away for however many years watching Everton. I've been to Europe to watch Everton. I've been to Wembley to watch Everton, and none of it has been as important as Sunday afternoon is against Bournemouth at Goodison. How are we meant to feel going into that game? It's all well and good saying, well, we're meant to get behind the team and we're meant to, sing and chant and scream and shout and this, that and the other, but that's very much easier said than done, isn't it? Because as I've just said, the enormity of this game is much bigger than anything that I've ever witnessed in the 25 years. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll be people watching this who've witnessed Everton win cup finals and win league titles and etc, and maybe it isn't the same for them, but for me, this is huge. This is absolutely huge, and like I said, it truly is. It's worrying, and hopefully, the players and the manager are a lot more calmer than what I am. But I feel that I'm not alone in the fan base in sort of worrying about this. And although, as I said, football for me and football fans are very sort of contradictory, and we constantly sit here and contradict ourselves, don't we? And, I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've pretty much come to the understanding now that what will be, and if Everton are to be relegated, it's because we deserve to be relegated, and we can't really blame anybody else for that. We just have to sort of take that on the chin and move forward. But when that, when I've said that previously, I've almost said it with the understanding that, yeah, but we've got 6-7 games to go. So although, don't get me wrong, I still understand that, if we are to go down, we deserve to be in that position. I still think that there's enough time for us to stay up. It's only when it gets to now, when it's sort of, it's one game left of the season, and if we don't win this game and one of the other two teams, Leeds or Leicester, win their games, then we go down. It's only when you put yourself in that position and you are, 48 hours, 72 hours away from that game, that you then actually start to think about the repercussions of Everton, playing in the Championship. And as much as we can sit here and go, well, if it's in our hands, and if we win, we stay up, and if we don't, it's completely, our fate is within our own hands, and we're playing Bournemouth at home, they've got nothing to play for, we should be able to, go out there and win this game. That's all well and good, but I just cannot sit here with the mindset of, well, it's in our own hands, and we've got a game at Goodison against a team that I've got nothing to play for, so if we don't win and we do go down, then it's completely our fault, because it's not just the case of being relegated and then playing in a different league. It's everything that follows that, with the financial stuff, and with maybe not coming straight back up and floating around the lower leagues for years and years to come. And it's worrying. It really, really, really is worrying. And as I said, there's no real premise to this live stream. There's no real sort of, there's no real news to talk about. There's no real meaning for me jumping on today. But I was thinking before I was sat there, as I said, I've been up all night, I've vomiting, and, I've literally had about an hour's sleep, and I was sitting there just before finishing work, and I was thinking, do you know what, I started this YouTube channel to sort of, let my feelings out, and almost sort of let the frustration and the anger or the happiness out when Everton were to lose a game or win a game. And I thought, you know what, I may as well just jump on and go live and just let the emotion and the feeling out and the anxiety, and maybe that'll make myself feel a little bit better, going into Sunday. Chesty, mate, says the Blues, what's happening? Jungle says, I don't care how frustrating this season's been and how much relief we will have if we stay up. Whoever I see, pitch invasions and morons, I don't want anyone to give them the satisfaction. Well, as I said, for me, we are in a very, very, very different position this season than what we were in last season. Obviously there was a pitch invasion last season after the Palace game, and I'll be honest, I was one of those fans that ran onto the pitch. You will have seen the videos. There's no point in me trying to lie about it and cover it up. And I did feel an immense amount of relief after that Palace game. I did feel an immense amount of sort of, happiness, and as I said, maybe not happiness in the general sense, but certainly happiness for the fact that Everton had come back and, confirmed our Premier League status. But that will not be the case this season. That will not be the case on Sunday. I can, for me personally, and again, I don't speak on behalf of everybody, because I can't speak on behalf of everybody, but for me personally, it won't be there won't be a pitch invasion from me. There won't be a sort of a mass amount of celebration. If we are to win, it will be very much again a big sigh of relief, a big breath, and almost a motivation to really push for change at this football club. Otherwise, we will be in this position again. And as I said, I'm not quite sure I can deal with this 3 seasons on the bounce, because it's absolutely destroying me. It's absolutely destroying me. Chris says, group therapy is right, mate. I think we all need this one. Yeah, get in, says Kevin. Hi, says David. What's happening? Bill's fault, says Kevin. Absolutely. Chris says, the blame lies squarely on Chairman Bill's shoulders for your sickness. Well, not just on his shoulders, but I am certainly blaming Everton for some of this, because it's a really, really tough time to be a Blue at the moment. Is Craig Pawson the ref, says David? I don't know. I'll be honest, I haven't even checked who the referee is. The Blues says that's sound for Burnley, but we aren't Burnley. Exactly. Paul says I'm calm over it, and I'm pushing 60 now, so maybe my age is playing a part over it. Look, it is down to us. We are in the driving seat, so right now, no need to flap over it. It's not even a case of flapping it. It's not even like I'm sitting here, massively worried, or in the sense of that, like, I'm sort of worried about losing the game, or just, it's just a horrible, horrible feeling, isn't it? It's a horrible, anxious, sort of nervous feeling. Yeah. Blue Cali says, just want it over and done with. not being able to think about anything else this week, but Sunday is distracting me from work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just... Jordan is in the comments, says the home form has been a disgrace. That alone should spur the players on to give the home crowd a win. Let's hope so. But yeah, listen, it just is a truly dreadful time, isn't it, to be an Evertonian at the moment. And Sunday is again, I'm in this weird space with it where I'll be brutally honest with you, I don't want to go on Sunday. I don't want to go because I don't want to be there when Everton potentially are announced as a championship club. I just don't want to do it. I will be there because I wouldn't miss it for the world. And you know, as I said, I've been ill for the last 2 weeks, but even if I've got to be pushed there in a wheelchair on oxygen, I will be there because this is, as I said, the biggest game of my lifetime, and I wouldn't miss it for anything. But that's sort of the conflicting feelings, isn't it? I don't want to be there because it's horrifying, the thought of what could happen, but I wouldn't miss it because you've sort of got to be there. You've got to be there to fight for your football club, and ultimately, as I said, I wouldn't miss it for the world. But yeah, it's just a horrendous feeling. Brad says, my question: if we go down, do you reckon fans will invade the pitch to confront the players? I don't know. Not largely. Listen, again, you never know what could happen and whether or not you may get a couple of people trying to get on to try and confront players out of anger or frustration. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think there would be a mass pitch invasion for that, to be honest. Blue says, I'm flapping at me, not going to lie. Yeah, you and me both. Glenn wants to know what I'm having for me tea. I honestly don't know, mate. I don't know. As I said, I've me tea last night didn't stay down for very long, so I'm not quite sure. Movie Room says, even Lampard beat these with Chelsea, we are going to win. I'm done worrying. Well, let's hope so. I think that's the only game Frank Lampard has won as the Chelsea manager, isn't it, against these? So yeah, again, we'll wait and see. But it's just that it's not even. As I said, it's a weird position because as much as I've sort of acknowledged that, well, we are where we are, and we are where we are because we deserve to be where we are, and if we go down, then so be it, because we deserve to go down because of the way, how badly we've been run. It was all right having those conversations with yourself 4 or 5 weeks ago when realistically we still had 7, 8, 9 games to go, and it was although that was a probability, it was still very far down the line. When you get to 72 hours before the game of football, that could determine the future of your football club. And I don't, as I said before, I don't mean that in the sense of the near future in terms of playing championship football next season. This could determine the future of Everton's football club for the rest of my life. If Everton are to be relegated on Sunday, there's no guarantee that we will be promoted back to the Premier League in my lifetime or in anybody else's lifetime watching, because of how badly we are run as a football club, and because it's much harder to completely change what you do and rejuvenate your football club like Burnley have done and come straight back up, than it is to do what Sunderland did or what Blackburn did or what Coventry did for years. I know they're on the brink of coming back up, but Coventry did for years, Forest did for years, Leeds did for years, and just hover in those lower leagues for years and years and years and years. So it's worrying. It really, really is worrying. It's not the players' fault. We played most of the season without a striker. Mopey didn't by himself. Our stupid board did. Yeah, I completely agree with that, mate. I'm behind that 110%. Albie, I'm just not very well at the moment. That's it. Nothing too serious. Just a viral infection. Blue says, my saving grace for this game is Bournemouth's set piece record. They've conceded 30 this season. I think that's pretty much our only hope of scoring with this squad. Well, that's it. Let's hope that we've taken that into consideration, and let's hope that Sean Dyche has taken that into consideration when it comes to putting balls into the box and corners and etc., because that might be the saving grace, mightn't it, on Sunday. Mark says, if this is the biggest worry in your life, you're living a wonderful life. It's not that. It's not the biggest worry in life. There's plenty of other things going on in life, but maybe Everton doesn't mean as much to you as it does to me, Mark. I don't know. I don't know, but the reality is that this is my life, and it's been my life for 25 years. You know, it's there's no other way about it. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up, and it's the last thing I think about when I go to bed. You know, I've been all around the world to watch Everton. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to go to America last summer after we just survived relegation to watch Everton on a pre-season tour. Did I do that because I thought, yeah, go ahead, I've got nothing else to do? No, I did it because I love this football club. So, yeah, it is my biggest worry at the moment in life. Because this isn't just the sport. It's not just that, well, yeah, I might go to the game today. I might watch Everton. I've missed one home game in about 15 years, and it was against Manchester City because I literally could not move out of bed. So, yeah, maybe that's just not the case for everybody, and that's fine, but, you know, that's ultimately the way I am, and I wouldn't change that for the world. Blue says spam corners and long throw-ins. Yeah, absolutely. And Albie says get well soon. Cheers, mate. Cheers. But yeah, listen, again, no real premise to this. I didn't want this to be sort of a soppy, negative video, because there does have to be, you know, a lot of positivity going into Sunday, and we ultimately do have to go into this game, players, manager, fans, sort of, whilst understanding the importance and understanding the significance and the enormity, we have to go into it believing that we can win, and almost with an arrogance that, you know what, we need to win this game, so we are going to win this game. But I just wanted to come on and almost, as I said, do a little bit of a therapy session just to talk about how stressful this actually is, because I am terrified. But look, we're going to leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow. A lot more positivity, a lot more, you know, hopefully just sort of positive thinking ahead of it, with the game preview tomorrow evening, so don't forget to look out for that one. Sean Dyche's press conferences tomorrow as well, so hopefully we'll find out a little bit more news about the team as well, so we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, let's see what happens. But I just wanted to come on because, as I said, this is horrendous at the minute, but it all lies on Sunday, and hopefully we'll still be a Premier League team after that. But big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new, and we'll see you later.